Yeah, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi. All praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahawah, Ba'asham, Yahawashi, Ba'asham, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, to the elder bishops in Connecticut, to the brothers in the four winds, preaching the truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but your bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, Shalom, to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This is your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson, and I came across this article, Independent, right? Salakia. And it's going into the Judites, right? Right? Because you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian women are Israelites also. It's not just the men. You women are Israelites also, but the Judites are the ones that's been put in the dust, put down, put to shame throughout all society, right? Right, even amongst you tribes, right? Even though you're living in the ghettos, the vadios, the reservations, though you all living in these low conditions, and the Edomites, the self-proclaimed so-called white man, which is your enemy, right along with their women, you use their tactics against each other, and especially against these women right here, what they call African American or black, right? Which black is not a nationality. African American, it's not a nationality. Those are empty words and empty rhetoric, right? But as you can see, in layman's terms, just calling them black women, which these are Israelite women, right? Hold all three major hold all three major U.S. beauty pageant titles, right? Hey, and because the Lord is starting to raise Israel up, right? The things are starting to change and take a different tide, right? Even though our women are technically still against us, they're still technically our enemy, right? And but this is I thought this is very beautiful in a sense that it's showing how the Lord, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh, right? We're gonna have to get that, right? Because Job said it, and beauty comes from the Most High. For first time in history, so this is the first time in history, right? It's gonna tell you, so the first time in history. So despite a long history of segregation and racism, America's top pageants have broken racial barriers in recent years. Vanessa Williams became the first black woman, right? Which black is not a nationality, right? It's empty rhetoric, and it's empty. Black means void of light. It's empty, it means nothing, right? So this nothing woman who's a nothing nobody who don't exist, right? Because technically, even in the law books, it tells you that you're black, you don't exist. That's why they could do whatever they want to do in the black community, so-called black community, because you're a non-existent community, right? That's basically what they're saying. Because if you go into I don't know, is it a bank or you go into something, you try to borrow money and they tell you that you're in the black, it means you're negative. You're in the negative. Means you're it's non-existing, right? So that's what black means, non-existing, right? But they're gonna call you a non-existing woman who won the first black first won the first Miss America pageant title in 1984, and Carla Gents Gents won Slovakia. Won Miss America in the 1990s. It says I'm horrible with names. Janelle Bishop won Miss Teen USA in 1991. Each competition has multiple black, which basically non-existing people who don't really exist, but they're winning. They're standing right before you, but they're these non-existing people, the in the negative people, which zero from zero is zero. It's nothing. Winners since. There've been a lot of other so-called black winners since. Yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 61 verse 3, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, right? So Zion, or to Zion, means memorial, which a memorial is for remembrance, to remember. And we're coming to the time where the Lord is remembering us. Though, you know, that was 2019, you know, of course 2020, you know, the CV-19 hit, and I don't know if they even got a chance to even perform the pageant, but I think they, you know, they set it up for Edomite to win. And of course this year I believe they were saying the Miss America was some Navy chick, some chick that was in the so-called military or whatever. So she won, but she looks like plain, super plain, very homely. Like, no way she should have won. But it's all you know, a ploy. You know, you're dealing with America. But I mean, I'm just showing you how even they're saying, look, it's never been seen before in history where black, so-called black women, which are really Israelite women, has held all three titles. So, but we're coming to the time where the Lord is going to start remembering us, and to give unto them beauty for ashes, right? Because what we were downtrodden, you know. We're in the you know, the ghettos, the barrios, and the reservations, and not to mention, the Lord marred our women's beauty, right? Yeah. So this is Isaiah chapter 3 verse 15. And what mean ye that ye beat my people to pieces, and grind the faces of the poor, right? Which is talking about the Israelite, you know, the man and the woman, right? But mostly dealing with the men. Saith Yahawah, power of host, right? Which means armies. Moreover, the most high Yahawah, right? All caps, all Yahawah, which means he exists. Saith, because the daughters of Zion, right? You dealing with you women, are haughty, which means proud, and walketh with stretched forth necks, and wanting eyes, right? Which is undisciplined, man. You're so pretty, like you want everybody to see that you're pretty, and basically you can get everybody's man, right? Which is why you want everybody man but the man you have, right? So it says with wanting eyes, walking and mingling as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawashi will smite the crown of the heads, right? Which a lot of you women don't have, so-called, especially dealing with the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But you know, you got a couple of them, you know, in the northern kingdom. You know, Issachar, Gad, Ephraim. You know, the Lord smite their heads too. You see them on the side of their head where their hair is gone on the side of their head, right? And says smite the crown of their head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahawah shall discover their secret parts, right? Which, you know, as you can see, these women dress skimpy now. A lot of these women have bad odors on their vagina, and they dress skimpy. You can see all their you know their private parts. You know, they're showing cleavage. They're showing, you know, their you know, camel toe, right? Yeah, so this is Lamentation chapter 2, verse 13. It says, what thing shall I take to witness for you. Right? What should I take? See, the Lord took our women's hair. He mauled he mauled the crowns of their heads, right? Which is part of your beauty. The Lord take, it tells you that a woman's hair is her beauty, right? Is her glory, right? Matter of fact, Lord willing, I'm gonna get that after this. So, so it's a witness for thee. What thing shall I liken to thee, O daughters of Jerusalem? What shall I equal to thee? What shall I equal to thee? What that I may comfort thee, O virgin daughter of Zion, for thy breach is great, right? You have great sin. Like the sea, who can heal thee, right? So who can really actually put everything back together? Who could actually give these women back their beauty, man? And so this is like a small increment or an example of how the Lord is going to bring back our women's beauty, which this is on this side, right? This is not even in the perfection when we don't die, when we're eating actual fruits that's the size of a car or something. They were saying it took two men to carry a cluster of grapes, man. Right? I mean, imagine that. You know what I mean? And even that was not in the prime situation. We're talking, the kingdom of heaven. When when you eat something, it's going to be complete nourishment. I mean, and our women is showing that the Lord is bringing back the beauty on this side. How much more that the Judites are going to be drop dead gorgeous in the kingdom to come, right? Which really, technically, all the women, right? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian women, you're going to be gorgeous. But the Lord is really showing you that, hey, you think you can just keep, dropping feces on the Israelite woman, the Judite woman, looking down on her. But hey, the Lord had a great purpose for her, right? Because the Lord, our power, the Lord Yahawashi, right, our Savior, our big brother, came out of a Judite woman, right? So how much more would the Lord restore that beauty to them, right? Who can heal thee? Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee, and they have not discovered thy iniquity to turn away thy captivity, because we went into slavery anyway. See, and in the midst of us going into slavery, hey, things happen to our women, right? Now they're wearing initially it was so-called black women that created the straighten, the perms, but of course a bunch of white companies paid them out. It took over it. And of course they put other chemicals in it that made it where these women could not have babies and their hair would fall out, right? And that's in the captivity that you couldn't turn away. But I have seen, but seen for thee false burdens, right? Worried about things that you don't really need to worry about, but the things you need to worry about, you don't care, which is the exact same thing that is happening right now to this day. You're not worried about the prophets. You're not worried about the men of the Lord. But hey, that's why it's going to say the man is more precious than fine gold, and you're going to find that out, right? And the cause of banishment, right? See, we got kicked out of the land. We got banished from the land of Israel, right? We were ruling Europe, got banished out of Europe. We were ruling in West Africa. And I mean, not all of us got taken out of West Africa, but a good majority, good portion of it got banished out of West Africa over to America. And then even now, you're getting banished from the places that you are. You got this gentrification. You're getting banished everywhere you go. But now there's no other place for you to go. The only way out of this is up, as as the scriptures say, look up for your redemption draweth nigh, right? Because hey, there's no way out of this but up. So you got to find a man of the Lord, technically. You know what I mean? All that passed by clap their hands, right? Because all these nations, man, they took us into captivity. They put us in these low conditions, the ghettos, the vadios, the reservations. They put the stuff in the perms and the hair products that actually mess your hair up. At one time, it actually really did help your hair, and it grew your hair when you had those. I mean, they did. I can't remember the lady's name, but they did the they did a show after her, how she went ahead and she was one of the first black women to come up with the hot comb and the certain greases and things and when these so-called black women were coming, they were using the finest things, they were using the best things, but so-called white people bought them out, of course, and started putting all sorts of chemicals in it to where your hair falls out or you're unable to have children. So this is where you're at now, and that's why the Lord said, "Who can heal you?" So now they're looking at you. Look at these. Like the Lord said, He smite the crown of your head, right? It says, and now your enemies, right? Even though you love the so-called white man, all that pass by, clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head. It's like you're at the daughters of Jerusalem, right? Which is all 12 tribes, but mainly Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, because that's the ones that they can really laugh at, because then even the other tribes get, because they're not, I'm not black, I'm not a miyate, I'm not that, I never been in slavery, I never been on no ships. Oh yeah, you have. Yeah, you've been on some slave ships, or some of your other ancestors have, right? Yeah, your ancestors partook in that too, right? But yeah. But what's this saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty? See, and at one time that's hey, we're gonna go back to that, man. At the end of the day, that's why I seen that, and I seen how it said all three, and then they even went as far as to say, hey, back in segregation, we came a long way from segregation to now, and here it is. They're holding 3 titles, and it's never been done before, really, like that. That all 3 titles a so-called black woman is holding. That was in 2019, but I didn't see it in 2019. I'm seeing it now, and of course, like I went and looked, and that's some chick for 2024 that of this year that won, and she wasn't really that pretty. I think it was more she was part of the military. She was part of the Air Force, and they wanted to throw on that patriotism and try to make it look like whatever, kind of like what they did with this the Super Bowl with dude dating Taylor Swift, and it's all theatrics, you know what I mean? But that men call the perfection of beauty the joy of the whole earth, right? And that's what we're gonna go back to, man. We're gonna go back to being the joy of the whole earth. We're gonna have that standard of beauty. Yeah, so this is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 15. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, right? So this is that's part of the woman's glory, her beauty, right? And then the Lord said He will smite the crowns of her head. Hey, and Esau is the sword of the Most High. So the Lord allowed Esau to use these perms and the conditions of chemtrails and hard water, and you know what I mean. You basically have to pay extra money to get the water to be how it's supposed to be. You got to get a water softener. Then you got to get filters so you can drink actual water. But then even the water you drink, don't have the minerals and nourishment that you're supposed to have. So I mean, if these women are winning beauty pageants now on this side, how much more are beautiful are they going to be in the kingdom, right? When they're going to have their long hair back, when they're going to have their beauty back, when they're going to actually be perfect, when they can't die. They're gonna have, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have the law, statutes, and commandments written in their hearts, right? Which is law within their mind. They're gonna be programmed to obey their man, to obey the law, statutes, and commandments, right? It's gonna be a totally different day in that day, man. They're gonna have long hair. Long hair, it is the glory of to her. For her hair is given to her for a covering, right? Hey, man, it's the cover, man, to give her covering, man, that beauty, man, right? Yeah. So this is Deuteronomy 28 and 656. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her feet upon upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, right? So let's look up that word adventure. Yeah. So this is adventure. So this what it say. The tender woman among you that would not adventure, right? So it says adventure. Look at this. Venture usually and unusual. Like, it's not the norm. You're gonna step out. Let's go wild. Let's go crazy. Girls going wild, right? That's the thing that you're dealing with now. What type of women you're dealing with? The girls going wild type women, right? It's the unusual, out of the norm. You know, they're not being women and ladies anymore. Exciting. They want everything to be exciting, right? Typically hazardous, right? Because they all the women are wanting to date what? Bad boys, right? They want to date the gangster, the thug, the bad boy. They want to date something that's hazardous to them. They talk about toxic relationships and toxic this, but they love toxic relationships because it's hazardous to them. Some women love to be beaten, hands down. They love to be beaten. They love to be mistreated. If they're not beaten or mistreated, they don't think they love. They don't think nobody cares. All these type of things, man. These women are super unusual at this point, right? Right?
Exploit.
Yeah, yeah, and they love to exploit you, right? Because technically, it's what the Lord said, right? Yeah. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 26, and I found more bitter than death. So hey, this is Solomon, which is the wisest man that ever lived, you know, and of his time until Yahawashi came back on the scene. Which, if you understand, he's Yahawashi reincarnated, right? That same spirit reincarnated into Yahawashi, who the world only calls Jesus Christ. So, you know, but before then, the wisest man, before he returned as Yahawashi, and before he returned again, he's the wisest man on the planet at this time. And I found more bitter than death the woman whose heart, right, mind is snares and nets, right, ready to trap you up. And basically that's what happened to these women, under all these different captivities, but mainly this last one, right? Because they got marred, they got their beauty taken from them. Their hair is gone. They got a reason to be angry and mad and ugly because everybody looks down on them, even the other tribes, even the northern kingdom, right? Ephraim, Simeon, Gad, Issachar, all of them. They all look down upon Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, man. And then Benjamin and Levi looks down on Judah, man. So it's all like that, man. So there's nothing more and I found more bitter than death the woman whose mind or heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whosoever pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. And that's the ultimate what we're coming to, man. Because all of you gonna be taken by her, man. You're all gonna be these simps trying to save her when calamity is happening, and you're going to be taken by this, man. Right? You might even try to throw yourself involved with the, there's 7 women should take hold of 1 man, and you're going to grab a bunch of women, but you're not the man of the Lord, and you're going to get slaughtered, and then the women are going to get slaughtered, except for the ones that, the men might want to keep, because you think you're part of that club. Hey, and then you're gonna fill the Billy Club. You know what I mean? Hey, you're gonna be taken. It's all gonna be snares and traps in these days, man. You know? Yeah. So now now they want the bad boy. They mind is snares and traps. So it says because at one point in time that the delicateness and the tenderness was that they didn't want to put their foot upon the ground for an adventure. They didn't want nothing strange, something new. They didn't want nothing to be hazardous, something crazy, spontaneous. Let's do something spontaneous. Let's have sex at the park. Let's have sex at the restroom inside of a you know convenience store or something. Some crazy, like, this is the thing that women that they do now. You know what I'm saying? Let's have sex in the back of a car, or, which is not all that crazy nowadays, but it's actually technically crazy. Like, you're not really technically supposed to do no things like that. But hey, for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil towards her husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter, right? And towards her young ones that cometh out from between her feet, and towards her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things. And then I just seen one where a woman was technically trying to eat her kid, or she was trying to put the kid in the oven, in the stove, which I'm gonna get to that lesson, Lord willing, soon. But eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege, and in straitness, wherewith thy enemies shall distress thee in thy gates. Right? Yeah, so this is I'm gonna go up a little bit from where I was at. This is Deuteronomy 28:54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, right? And this dealing with the conditions that we live in, as far as these are the curses, right? You know going to a club or a place, and you will see a so-called black man look at another so-called black man, which really is Israelites, and then what you staring at, you know what I mean? They'll look at him, and and be like, what hood you from? You know what I mean? His eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Which now, in turn, this also makes the women what single mothers. So this is the curses that we're going through, as far as a nation of people, and this is just going to a small aspect of our women through the man's perspective. He either get locked up, go to jail, get killed, something happen, or it just said that they're he'd be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom. So where you have this so-called baby mama drama, and then you have to leave your children for whatever reason. So now you got these single mothers, right, who's looking for an adventure, who wants bad boys. I mean, they ain't looking for the good guy. So this is this is the situation that you end up living in, right? Because this is, I'm going into this because it's all these different scenarios, because this is the ashes. These are the pain that we have to go through, the low conditions. Even though a lot of these women like these conditions, it's a low condition nonetheless. Therefore, thus saith Yahawah, right, the Most High, thy wives shall be a whore in the city. See, and ultimately, these are the curses that fell upon us, man. Now our wives are whores, because even this doing this beauty pageant is basically like being a whore. She's going up there dressing up, putting her best on to put herself out there, pretty much like a whore. But I'm doing this as far as just showing you how even in they were saying, because since segregation and this and that, and which we understand that they were probably most likely pushing an agenda. This is right before the CV-19, and right before they said they care about the the overlooked and the overturned. You know, they wanted to show you those things. But regardless, I mean, if our women are this beautiful on this side, how much more in the perfection, right? That's to come. But right now, we're dealing with thy wives, right? Because we're dealing with the single mothers. Now, the guy left the wife, he left the children, and even Yahawashi said, if you leave her, you cause her to commit what, adultery, right? So adultery basically makes her a whore. So thy wives shall be in whore in the city, and thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword. Which that's the thing that's happening right now, right? Through the gangs, right? The police, right? Your children are dying, being shot and killed, right? In some cases, like you go back in the day, they would get grabbed up by the Ku Klux Klan and hung or whatever. But these days, you don't need the Ku Klux Klan. You just walk in your own neighborhood, right? And thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword, and the land shall be divided by lines, right? You got certain city guidelines, and that's that side over there. That's the rich side over there, and that's this side. And you can't go over. And if you're on a certain side of town, boy, what are you doing over here? Your kind don't belong over here. You belong in a project somewhere. You belong in a gutter. You belong somewhere else. Yeah, it's all divided by lines, and thus shall die in a polluted land, right? And there's no more polluted land in America, right? And Israel shall surely go into captivity. And where are you at right now? America is built to be your captivity, man. Though you seem free, you're not on chains like you used to be, right? Which is captivity. You're still in the land of your captivity, and you're still mental slaves, financial slaves. You're just slaves, man, all together. Captivity, fourth of his land, right? And that's where you're at. You're in the place of your captivity, right? And our women are being whores, right? So, and then them being what? Whores, single mothers, you know what I mean? Having all these different babies, baby daddies, all these different things that's going on. It says, and it shall come to pass, instead of sweet smell, there should be stank, right? So these women having, going on the sea carousel, going on the rod carousel, going from guy to guy, right? Now they're private, right? Because the Lord said he should discover their secret parts. Now their secret parts are stinking, man, right? You're not meant to have a bunch of different dudes semen up in you, man. You're supposed to have one guy, but it said what you're gonna leave your, they're gonna have evil towards their husband. And the husband's gonna have evil towards his wife, right? And now you're gonna leave the children, leave the wife. Now you got these single mother thing, and these are the ashes. These are the curses and the ashes that we have as a nation, and and uh, unfortunately, our women have to go through this. So our women end up being whores, and basically hardening themselves to not want to accept a love the way that they're meant to accept it, right? They're taught by the fashionness of this world that you have one man and he needs to just be with you, and and that a man can't have multiple wives, and he needs to be with you, but then at the same time she's trying to be with multiple men behind your back, which is not upright, not righteous, right? So now instead of that, it's going to be, instead of sweet smelling your your private area down there, it should be stink. And instead of Gertin, a rent, right? Instead of having that nice body, had all these different children. Now your body is a rent. It's out of portion. You got that. You done had all them different babies and stretch marks and all that. Your body's a rent, right? Right, because everybody knows the so-called black woman for all these stretch marks, and even Cat Williams try to make it cool, right? Oh, I see those stretch marks. I'm gonna say you a tiger. Rawr, you know what I mean? And then you women got more proud under that. Like, yeah, that's right. Don't be worried about these stretch marks. Yeah, just say I'm a tiger. And you women went with it, right? you know. And instead of well set hair, what baldness? See, and that the Lord said He's gonna smite the crown of your head. So a lot of you women end up being bald through all these different things and situations. Whether if it was you know, it could just be stress. It could be the conditions that you live in, the food, but also, like I said, the these different chemicals that you put in your hair, right? But not to mention, it's just a curse, man. The Lord smited it. I mean, you may not even. I've never put a perm in my hair. I never did this, and my hair still don't grow. Well, the Lord cursed you with like that, right? Because we already went through it. A woman's hair is her glory. So the Lord took your glory, because a lot of you are proud. And instead of a stomacher, right? Instead of a nice good stomach, a girding of sackcloth, right? So you really in a low condition. Sackcloth is for mourning. You're in a low condition. But a lot of you women like to still have pride in your low condition, man. And burning instead of beauty, right? Instead of you being beautiful, you're actually ugly. Burning like right? And so there's a lot of ugly women out there, man. You Judite women, you Issacharite women, you Gadite women, you so-called North American, you so-called Mexican, Puerto Rican. A lot of them are ugly. But the Lord is starting to raise you up to we're coming to these last times that the Lord is starting to show that, hey, look, he was it a memorial to Zion, right? A memorial. He's starting to remember us. So a lot of you women are going to have to get in line, right? Yeah, so this is Maccabees chapter 1, verse 25. Therefore, there was a great mourning in Israel in every place where they were, right? And we're scattered around the world, right? As of now. And we were scattered around all the known world at that time. So there were great mourning wherever we were, right? Now, how much more in this captivity, in the lowest conditions that we could ever be in the valley of the shadow of death, which is America, right? So that the princes and the elders mourned, and the virgins, the virgins and the young men were made feeble, right? Which is weak, right? Brought down, and we're in a low condition with the GMO foods and things that's going on. We're made feeble, man. We're not put in the right conditions that we should be in at all. We're at the low condition that we ever been in history. Salakia, and the beauty of the women were changed. And so look, the beauty of the women were changed when you used to have long hair, like the woman who wiped the Lord's feet with her hair. That was a Judite woman or a Benjaminite woman or a Levite woman. She had long hair. Her hair was long. What you would so-called call black or African American or whatever you want to call it. That woman had long hair. That was a so-called black woman. But the Lord is going to give that back soon, right? But right now, your beauty has been changed. You got all these other nations, these heathens, looking down upon the Judite woman, right? Dealing with Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? Right? The kingdom of Judah, right? Because even the other tribes, right? The northern kingdom, you know, you got Ephraim, you got Gad, right? The so-called North American Indian. You got the so-called Mexicans, no, Issachar, and everywhere in between, they'll look down on the so-called black woman. They'll say we have the ugliest women, right? But the Lord looked like the Lord. I'm doing this thing is showing how the Lord is going to start raising that and changing that scenario, man, right? And they're going to be the most beautiful women in all the kingdom of heaven, man, right? So it says and every bridegroom took up lamentations, right? And she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. See? And seeing our women right now, they don't give a damn about being married. They're going from guy to guy, man to man, doing their own thing. And then some of them are just saying, hey, look, I'm finna just be a lesbian. I'm gonna do my own thing. Right? And it says the land also was moved for the habitation thereof, and all the house of Jacob, right, which is so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, man, woman, and child, was covered with confusion. See, and there you go. That's confusion. A woman trying to be a man is confusion, or a man trying to be a woman is confusion. And so that now we have a whole bunch of confusion within where we're at. So now our men are trying to be women, our women are trying to be men, and then you got our women that's just being whores. And then the men leaving the children not standing and being men and taking care of your children, right? Or you got certain conditions where the woman is just doing her own thing and you want to be in your child's life, but the woman being whatever. So, hey, it is what it is. We're in a place where we're mourning and in lamentation, man. But that's what the Bible said it's about. Mournings, lamentations, and woes. This is where we're at, right? Yeah, so let's get back to this right here. Because basically that's what I'm saying. The Lord is going to give back that beauty, man. Because it's going to be a beautiful thing when a man and a woman is married. When that woman has her actual natural beauty. She got her beautiful long hair. And she's in the right condition with the right state of mind. Not trying to be jumping from man to man to man. Or even thinking that she's the man dating another woman, right? That's just asinine. So I'm gonna go back to it. Says, and to appoint unto them that mourn, right? Because we just said it's a mournful situation. We're in lamentation, mournings, and woes. The mourn in Zion, right? And Zion is another way of saying Israel, right? And and basically saying it's to Zion a memorial of the Israelites. So the Lord said He's going to start remembering us. He's going to remember to give unto them beauty, right? Instead of you having all that ugliness, where the Lord's taking your beauty away, right? Instead of sweet smell, stink. Instead of beauty, you have burning, which is ugliness. Instead of your beauty being changed, right? You're gonna have the Lord says He's gonna have give unto them beauty for ashes, for all those times where you were in a low condition, and all the times that these other nations look down upon you. Look at that. The black woman's bald headed. She's this and she's that. She got to wear the weaves, so they know you for having to wear weaves, right? They made $1 billion corporation off of you being bald headed. But the Lord is going to raise you up. He's going to give you beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, right? Because we were in mourning. We're crying, mourning, lamentations, mournings, and woes, right? The garment the garment of praise, right? And even in which when you go back to Genesis 49:8, when it says that Judah, thy brethren shall praise. Well, even you're the woman. So these women, these other nations, they're gonna have to praise you as women. They're gonna have to give you your praise. Like, oh my God, these are these beautiful, gorgeous Israelite women, and they're going to be what they call African Americans, what they call Jamaican, what they called Haitian, right? What they called ugly, right? Right? They're going to have to give you that praise for the spirit of heavy, right? Because it even said for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called the trees of righteousness. See, because you had that spirit of what it said, of heaviness, right? You may call it the trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahawashi, that he might be glorified. See, and ultimately, when our women are in a right state of mind, you know, being wives and women towards their husband, loving their husbands, loving their children, in all aspects of basically glorifying the Most High, right? That has to be in your mentality. You like I'll be telling my wife, you don't do it for me. You really do it to glorify the Most High. You don't cook and clean and things really for me. It's really to glorify the Most High, because at the end of the day, the Lord could destroy me and then give you another guy. That's what you do it for. You don't do it for the guy. You do it to glorify the Most High. That's all it is. You're not doing it for the man, and he don't appreciate it. Hey, the one who appreciated the most, who accounts, is the Most High, Yahawashi, right? It says Yahawashi, right? All caps, and Yahawashi, that he might be glorified. Yahawashi. It says and they that built the old waste, they shall rise up. They shall raise up the former desolation. See, the former desolations when we were in a good condition, when we were ruling, when we had a military, we had our army, we had our things in condition. We were following the law, statutes, commandments. No one could come against us, and our women and restoring that is part of even restoring what your beauty, man. Right? Your body's a rent. No, the Lord's going to restore to you a gorgeous body, man. All the women of Zion, right? Whether you so-called black, whether you so-called Hispanic, whether you so-called Native American, yeah, you're going to have a beautiful body, man. The Lord's going to restore that, or the former desolations, right? It's talking about the city, and it's talking about the people also, because we're a people before a place. And they shall repair the waste cities, the desolation of many. See, we're a people before the desolation of what? Of many generations, right? And when you go into that word generations, you get the word gene, right? And gene goes into your nationality, who you are as a people. So the Lord's going to restore the people of Israel, man, woman, and child. And the strangers that stood, and the strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the aliens shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. See, the Lord's going to change the whole situation. And those people who laughed at you and scoffed at you and said that you were the ugliest women on the planet and we were the ugliest nations, and look at them, they're in the ghettos, the vadios, the reservations. Look at them. They just do nothing but have an evil eye towards their brother, towards a woman of their bosom. The children they should leave, to leave the woman as a single mother. Now the woman's wilding out, being a whore, and they looking at us in a low condition. Hey, now they're our slaves. Now they're being looked at in a low condition. Now they are actually in the low condition, because they're going to be the ones who's our slaves, man. All these other nations, man. Right? So with all that, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it right there. So with all that, I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahawashi, Ba'asham, Yahawashi, Ba'asham, Rakal Kadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. Hey, to the elder bishops, to the brothers in the four winds, citations. Right? To those that preach in sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. And a Baba Ball.